Hey guys, so remember last summer when I did like that single lone episode of that Remembering Forgotten Memories thing? I was just reminded again the other day that that was a thing, and I'd forgotten about it. I've not for any particular reason not updated it or anything. So I guess I'm going to update it today, and I have a few ideas for other ones that I'll do in the not too distant future as well. This is actually my fourth time attempting to film this because my webcam has been so stupid with the lagginess to where I am just done. If it doesn't work this time, I'm switching to the iPod, which I should have just done at this point anyway, but yeah, so anyway, moving right along. Hopefully it will behave itself this time. I have closed all possible things that could make this lag. I've restarted the computer. I've run every virus scan on the face of the planet. There's no reason it should be lagging. I don't know why it is. Hopefully that will have resolved now. Anyhow, so yeah, topic of this Remembering Forgotten Memories episode is fishes. Out of all the pets we have had over the years, I always forget that we had fish, even though by the numbers, we have totally had more fishes than anything else. I mean, we've had cats, we have a dog, we've had horses, we've had a lot of horses, we've had a deer, don't ask, it was kept in the barn, just don't ask. We had a fox for a while, not a very long while. Foxes aren't very nice. My parents kind of had a if you can catch it, you can keep it policy when I was little, so. We had some frogs, we've had lizards, we've had birds. We've probably had more things that I'm not even remembering right now, but the one thing I always forget when I think about the pets I've had in my lifetime are the fish. Even though we've had tons of them. Like, I don't know an exact number of how many fish we've had, because we've had so many. But yeah, so it got me thinking about this. I was like, why not share this with YouTube? I don't know. I'll eventually make videos about the other pets I've had over the years, too, especially the weird ones. But, yeah, anyhow, the first two that I had, I was only, like, 3 or 4 years old. Just a little toddler. And this started out as me trying to ask for a third cat. We already had 2 at the time. There was really no need to get a third. I was still happy with those 2, and they lived long and happy, healthy lives. But I thought for some reason a third would be cool, but my parents wouldn't go for it, funnily enough. So they eventually somehow talked me down to a fish. Probably because my dad raised and bred fishes, like, throughout most of his teen years, but yeah, so they brought me to the pet store, and I remember first things first, right by the front door, what do I get distracted by? The fucking kittens. There was a thing of little Siamese kittens, which are my favorite type of all kinds ever. So I was already disappointed over the fish thing just by the fact that they have the perfectest kittens in the whole world, and I can't have one of them. But eventually my dad dragged me away from the kittens and got me to go to the back where all the fishes were. And being a little tiny kid, he figured these fishes are probably gonna die anyway, may as well just give her some basic goldfish. And instead of 1, I got 2. I got a gold one and a brown one. And somehow, in my infinite little kid wisdom, I didn't give them original names. I named them after 2 of our horses, Misty and Commander. Not even after my favorite of the horses or anything. No, just 2 random horses that the colors matched up on these fish and the horses. That's the only thing I can think of for why I named them that. I don't know. Anyhow, so we get them home, and my dad had a little glass bowl, like a really basic glass fish bowl, that he put on top of my dresser in my bedroom, which at that point was like one of those low dressers that has like the 6 drawers in it, but it's like 3 on one side, 3 on the other, so it's pretty low. Any little kid can get on top of that in about 5 minutes flat. He put the fishes in it, and he said that maybe if I was good later he'd let me feed them. And he left me in the room by myself, which was a huge freaking mistake. Because within minutes I decided of him leaving, these fishes are pets, aren't they? I'd like to pet them. Genius, I swear. So I reached in, and I scooped one out. I don't even remember which one first, but I scooped one out, and I went to pet it, and being a fish, it flopped around and fell on the floor, and I was freaking out trying to figure out how to get the fish back in the bowl, because this apparently was a plan gone wrong. By the time I got it, I was so panicky that I kind of just grabbed it. Yeah, I squished it. I still cringe remembering that. And not only did I squish it, I then dunked it back in the bowl. So as if that wasn't bad enough, I decided to reach in for the other one, which also went on the floor, but I didn't get a hold of that one. That one went under the dresser, and I couldn't even reach because little bitty kid arms. Yeah, I couldn't get under there. It got too far under, and it died, obviously enough. Didn't take very long being out of water. That's what happens, but apparently I was not taught this lesson before getting the fish, which, would think would be a very important thing for a parent to tell a little kid about a fish, but yeah, they never bothered telling me that half. I guess they figured I'd figure it out, trial and error, the circle of life or something. Yeah. My dad comes in less than half an hour later. What the fuck did you do? Yeah, I got in big trouble, and he decided maybe I was too young for the responsibility of a fish yet, and decided we'll try this again in a couple of years, which we did. By that point, I was old enough to know, don't stick your hand in the water, don't take the fishes out of the water, but at least, yeah. Actually, no, that wasn't the next one. The next ones were not allowed in my room after that little expedition. The next ones were in an aquarium, pretty decent size. Well, I guess you can't really see that, but decent one, a couple feet long, a couple feet tall. I mean, it was decent sized. And he had it in his bedroom, cleverly enough, up out of my reach. Plus, it had a lid on it, so even if I could climb up there, I wouldn't be able to get into it should the urge arise. Although, by this point, I was definitely old enough not to fuck with the fish, but yeah, funny thing, you get a little traumatized after that happens once. But anyway, so I don't remember most of the fishes that we had in that one. The one that stands out really vividly was like an albino white catfish. Like, it had pink eyes and everything, was otherwise pure white. It had really long whiskers, and it was really cool. And especially because I loved cats, I was like, this is kind of the best of both worlds. It's part cat, part fish. This is cool. Yeah, I didn't realize till my teens that catfishes are not at all part cat. I'm not the smartest crayon in the box. So anyway, we had that catfish in there, and besides that, I'm not really positive what all else we had in there. We probably had like tetras or something somewhat basic, but still semi-tropical in there, I feel like, but I could be wrong. The only one I remember for sure was that catfish, and I guess it was pretty uneventful, because I don't remember whatever ended up happening to any of them. I guess they lived out their fishy days until they died, and then he got rid of that aquarium, but yeah, I don't really remember anything beyond that. I just remember they were in there. And somewhere in there was overlap. I must have been 7-ish, I want to say. He decided we could try again for fish in my room after I proved that I could feed the fish in his room and not hurt the fish. I know not to mess with the fish. I know not to take the fish out of the water. Yeah. So, by this point, he trusted me enough not to do any of that junk. And he got me an aquarium, a small one. It's a little octagonal one that's like a tubey thing, maybe like that tall, and about that big around. And it just sat on top of the dresser, and this one had a lid. But, let me get a couple more goldfish, see how I do with those before maybe upgrading to something else later. I remember my first complaint was just how noisy that thing was, and little did I know that it would, set me up for the rest of my life, once I got used to it, to never being able to sleep in a silent room again, because I got so used to that by the time that there were no more fish, I could not sleep in a silent room, so I've always had radios or TVs or computers or something going at all times, so there's some noise around me while I sleep, because I just can't. But, anyway, I don't remember both of their names. I remember one of them was Goldie Hawn the goldfish. This should tell you something about the strange little child that I was. So, of these two, I'm not the one that screwed up this time. My sister screwed up this time, because this time around, she was the toddler who was about 3 years old, and she climbed up there, and I don't really know what possessed her to do this. She found some scented hand lotion of mine, scooped out a handful of it, proceeded to eat it. There was an ER trip involved over this, I seem to remember. Took another scoop out of it and dunked it in the water. Obviously, the fishes were poisoned and died, and I was very angry, and I was also not allowed to have perfumed hand lotion for quite a few years after that, even though this wasn't my fault, but because it was mine, and she got to it, and she shared a bedroom with me, they decided this was a thing I wouldn't be allowed to have till she's old enough to know not to fucking eat it. But, yeah, I digress. So, I feel like that may have been the last foray of fishes in my bedroom. There might have been one more after I had untraumatized from that. I feel like there was at least one more set of them that were in that one. And then I, hit my teen years and decided this is really uncool. Can we move this somewhere else? And we, put it in the bathroom, I think, if I remember right. Then the next fishes we got were Siamese fighting fish, otherwise known as betas. Excuse me. And the thing with Siamese fighting fish, as the name implies, if you put more than one of them in a bowl together, they will literally fight to the death. We didn't do that. But we did make the mistake of having 3 small bowls in a row. And also, with my very weird little kid sense of humor, I decided to name them John, Jack, and Ruby. History buffs will totally understand exactly why they got those names, and one of the replacement fishes was then named Oswald. Yeah, I went there. I was 12 and I went there, because I don't know. But the one that was mine was a blue one, and mine was right in the middle of the other two. My brother, I don't remember what color his was, but we all had different ones, and his was off to one end. My sister had a red one. That was Ruby, obviously enough. I had John. My brother had Jack. But anyway, this is lagging again. Are we serious right now? Is it, I'm gonna splice this together as 2 parts, because I don't want to refilm this again. Okay, so anyway, we had these 3 fish, all in a row. And mine, obviously enough, being in the middle, it not only was able to see one other one, it could see 2 other ones on either side of it, and it turned the poor thing neurotic, and it kept trying to jump out of the bowl to get into the other 2 bowls so it could fight. And it never succeeded in landing in either of the other 2's bowls. It would just kind of land on top of the TV. And usually somebody was in the room and would see this happen and would stick him back in the water, but since we used to go to my Nana's once a week when she was still around, one of those days he jumped out, nobody was home, and we came home to crispy fish. So, yeah, that. So, I ended up having another blue one, who I decided to name John John. For anybody who didn't understand the JFK references before, you do now. But, yeah, so I had John and then I had John John. But so anyway, this one, we didn't really think it through. It was still in the same positioning on top of the TV. It was still in the middle. It did the same exact thing as the first one. And sure enough, we came home to crispy fish a different day. So I decided, yeah, I don't really want another one, if that's okay. So then it was just down to my brothers and sisters, too. And something eventually happened to Ruby, and she decided to replace it with a purple one. That one was Oswald, and she stuck that one in that aquarium in the bathroom. And left the goldfishes alone, but this was the stupidest fish to ever be a fish. And we didn't realize until this point that fish could drown, or at least betas can, because they have both gills and lungs, because they go up to the surface of the water to get air, and they breathe through their gills. This fish got its head stuck in a decorative shell. Really stuck, and it blocked the gills, and it couldn't get its head out to go to the surface, so it couldn't get air either. So this fish literally drowned. Like, this sounds like one of those anecdotes you would hear somewhere, but this is an actual thing that happened. Yeah. My brother was the only one who had an uneventful experience with the fish. His lived like a really long time, as I seem to remember. I forget how many years that one was kicking around, but yeah, that one was like the sole survivor and just like hung in there for like 5 years or something. You were like, damn, I didn't even know a betta could live that long, but apparently they can, so who knew? But anyway, so after that, then my dad got like this big ass aquarium, 2 end-all aquariums that was like the size of an entire wall, like a long wall too. And he was like really into decorating it and redecorating it and redecorating it. Like, he would do ocean seascapes, like the bottom of the ocean, then he'd, like, redo it as, like, the inside of the Titanic. That was my personal favorite. And he did some other ones. There was, like, a medieval one, as I seem to remember. There was, like, a bunch of them, and they were really, really intricate and really cool. I could never understand, it's perfect already, why do you want to change it? But, yeah, he was, like, really into it. He had a crap ton of fish in there. He had mollies, he had tetras, he had neons, he had angelfish, he had parrotfish, he had... Oh, what else did he have in there? He had some... I think they're called feeder fish. There was like a sucker fish. It's not really called that, but it kind of like... It cleans the glass for you by like sucking its mouth against the glass, and it like eats the algae that naturally grows in there off of it. There's a few of those. Those are fun to watch. And, like, stick your finger up to the glass and watch it, like, try to suck your finger. But, yeah, he had a ton of fish in there. And then he started breeding them and got a little breeder's box so that the other fish wouldn't eat the babies. And this worked pretty well for most of them, except for the angelfishes, who were just whack-ass crazy, and the mothers would eat the babies. Yeah, every time we tried with the angelfishes, it just never ended well, so... But... there were so many in there, and I was perfectly content to just, like, sit on the armchair and just, like, zone out and just watch these fish and, like, have daydreams about, like, these seascapes that my dad created. I see that it's glitching again. I know. I'll fix it. But yeah, so I remember I even like wrote a story about one of these seascapes that he had made that was just so intricate that I felt the need to immortalize it in something. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore since I lost that on my very first ever computer when that tanked. But yeah, they were so cool though, and it makes me sad that he doesn't do these anymore. I thought that he was gonna like get a new one when we moved into our new house, but there's really nowhere to properly set one up. Like, he thought maybe he'd do one right inside the front door, but didn't take into account that with tropical fish, every time you open that door, that's gonna be a gust of cold and it will fuck with the temperature and kill your fish, so that won't work. And there's really no stretch of open wall anywhere else in this house that's not inhabited by some piece of furniture or something else to where he can put one. So that kind of has stopped him from doing it again, and it sucks, because he would love to be all into that if he could. If he ends up, like, building one of his little outbuildings like he wants to do in the not-distant future, it may become a thing out there, but... Yeah, I was just thinking about all the fishes we've had. It just tripped me out that why do I always forget we had fish when we've had so many of them? It's so weird to me. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to having another one right now, just keep in my room, but... Yeah, it's one of those things where I guess they're not really noteworthy enough to stand out in my memory that strongly unless something specifically reminds me of them, and then I'm like, oh yeah, we've had fish. We've had lots of fish, actually. So, yeah, that's about all I've got to say on this one. This is basically a pointless video, and I apologize for the lagginess. Like I said, I should have just done this on my iPod, but at this point it was a matter of concept of wanting to defeat the spazzy webcam. So anyway, as usual, if you like this video, click the like button. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, leave comments down below. Until next time, bye! Oh, and one more thing. I do realize that the thumbnail does not match what I'm wearing in this video, because I didn't realize just how out of sync the audio and video were on my last attempt at filming this. So that was filmed yesterday, and I just ditched it, and I didn't feel like making another thumbnail. So in case anybody was wondering, there you go. Okay, for real now, bye.